Get excited because this was the cheapest car for sale in Australia in 2009. It's a Proton S16. And this isn't anyone's Proton S16. This is my Proton S16. I own this. I traded a drum kit for it. A good one, but a drum kit nonetheless. This is a little Malaysian car. And I love the proportions. It's got the tiny wheel wells with the little 13s, but with the gigantic windows. It's so goobery. It's the Goober. I am calling it the Goober. Oh baby, that's a nice keep. Even nicer when you get, yeah, that's what you want. Let me just she's got what you need and nothing more. It's bare minimums. I just haven't seen interiors flex at this point like that, you know? Like, the entire thing. Proton, you could have saved heaps of money by making these half the length. You know, in photos, it actually, you know, it's fine. I mean, the seats are pretty flat and everything's manual and, yeah. See, these funny, swivelly, they're actually quite good. See, if you want them shut like that, and then you just aim them like that. I have no issues with it. Oh, I don't know, when they do fake, like, hex nut stuff like this is when I start to cringe, because, like, now you're just being greedy. Like, you're selling the cheapest car in Australia, and you're going to try and give it some sort of, like, yeah, sporty, aluminium, Hong Konger? Oh, Hong Konger. I like all the little details they got here. You know, it's kind of like, you know, mechanical looking amongst this sea of just cheapness. And hey, look! Digital fuel gauge. That's neat. There's your brain bucket hole, right? So no airbag here. If you have an accident, boom, your head goes straight into here, and you can just, you know, just get that out. You can clean it easy. Lovely night. Oi, this is the specky version. Look at this. Power front windows and speakers. You notice like there's no mirror controls or anything, like nothing. They are manual. As in, like, you gotta. Can I? Oh, they're pretty quick. That's pretty good. But you got to reach out and you got to do it yourself. Oh yeah, very scratchy and huge. I can't even reach the end there. I love little sedans. It's like the Daihatsu Applause. I love it, little sedan. And it's something Malaysians wanted. They didn't want a hatchback. They wanted a sedan. And what gives it this really goobery body line is the fact that you notice those rear doors are huge, humongous. So it's a small-ish car, but heaps of headroom, right? See, the roofline doesn't slope until it's past the back of people's heads. So it's goobery for a reason, and I can respect that. 13s. Proton said it's okay, so we can trust them, right? It's when you're reading the comments from people from Malaysia going, oh, those are awful. Maybe, but it's mine. Look how goobery the gear stick is. Don't you love it? It's just no hint of sport at all. It's long throw, slightly mushy, but it's manual, so. And the most incredible air conditioner ever. It's only got 4 doinks on the fans, but the fans are quiet, and I've had the aircon blow so cold, mist was coming out. Like, I guess you'd need good aircon in Malaysia, and this has outstanding aircon. Remember when this was a good stereo? Remember when this was flex? Yeah, look, all the interior bits they're pretty damn cheap. But look, rear cup holders. Oi, my CLS luxury boat, no cup holders at all! And there's cup holders in the front! Well equipped! It's got parking sensors and parking damage. So the interesting twist to this car is, at the time, Proton owned Lotus. Yeah, like owned Lotus, maker of the Exige, like amazing like English sports cars and things. Yeah, and they did the suspension for this guy. And I gotta say, she's no race car, if you couldn't tell. Very comfortable. Perfectly comfortable. You can smash over bumps and curbs and anything you like, especially with these big gushy tires. Bring back the big tires, they're so much better. And ow, my feet. The Camp Pro engine, Lotus had a hand in it, mate. There's Lotus engineering buried in this Proton. Hey, look at that green lead for the O2 sensor. I like that. Apparently, this is the model of the engine that finally didn't have a massive flat spot in it. It was like, I got Proton gunk on me. And this had the biggest engine in its class versus like more expensive cars. Like, it's good. So it's manual, Lotus engine. and it does this weird thing that I hate, and even reviewers have brought it up from back in the time. It flares. So like the revs go. At first we thought it was like a really heavy flywheel, which means like as the engine spins up, it's got heaps of momentum. But you can test that by revving the engine up and then shutting it off. And if it overruns for ages, heavy flywheel, this idiot just turned off immediately. So it's actually got a map of some sorts in the throttle. It's got fly-by-wire throttle. There's no throttle cable, right? 2009 cheapest car, fly-by throttle. And it's actually leaving the throttle opened slightly longer afterwards. Oh, I'm gonna take it all the way, Goober. That's wheel spin in the Goober. Oh, go, Goober. It's so dumb. I think it's to help people not stall the engine or something. But it just makes it really lumpy, really all over. It's hard to drive smoothly. This thing is so straight. It's so straight. I mean, gosh, I can't even imagine it's like a dodgy insurance repair or something. Because I've seen like paint shops just do the cheapest, bodgiest jobs. And it's only this door's been done. And you can tell it's had some bumps over the years and like different shades of paint and whatnot. But it is interesting to see where these cars wind up after, what, 15 years on the trot? 142,000 Ks, mate. It's got some groans and squeaks here, but nothing serious. If you bought this new back at the time, you'd still be driving it. It's time to get the precious data of my precious Goober. And we're going to start with the hill over here, which is dead. It's not the best story to sell how well a car cruises, right? I always just found it fun to like see RPM at a load, you know, up the big hill. And that's just because I grew up with the hill. And just most of my cars couldn't get up it. And so I found something endearing about, you know, how little revs could you get up it with. So I'm going to change it, right? This is now... the cruise board, and revs aren't the name of the game anymore, it's decibels. In other words, how noisy is it in the car at the time? So it doesn't matter if you got more revs, if it's quieter, because mate, that's how you feel tired after like heaps of driving, is if it's noisy as heck. So in order to get the cruise board going, mate, we need a couple of examples, like, you know, to set the benchmark, you know, what is good cruiser? And we're gonna start off with Sweet Bruce. Go Barrett, go. You got it. Yes. All right, that's actually 110. Love you, Bruce, mate. First one on the cruise board, 2100 RPM at 76 decibels. And always got to use it as a comparison, mate. The car. 98 roller, baby. Yeah! Flat foot! Flat, baby! Come on, get up there! Gosh, that's so funny to do. Alright, that's 110. 98 Corolla, 2700 RPM, but 75 decibels, mate. That's less. The roller wins. The roller beat Bruce. What? But what about the Goober? Ooh, it doesn't cruise good. We're already at 90 and we're struggling. Okay. Alrighty. Whoa, it's floaty as well. Alright, that's deep. Yep, that's 110. 3,400 RPM and 78 decibels. And like 3 decibels is actually like very noticeable. Like decibels are weird. It's to do with air pressure and whatnot. The Goober is currently the worst cruiser on the cruise board. All right, it's time for fuel economy, right? You got the city, you got the highway, and then you got the combined, right? And people are probably gonna notice that like it's quite high numbers with like my test, mate. And that's because it's a pretty brutal test. I want to see, like, you know, I mean, that's not even idling for heaps of time. That's just stop and start. And then getting up to the 110 zone where I did the cruise board. So, city route, mate. The Goober did 1307. Slightly more than the Corolla. Very slightly more, yeah, 18 mpgs. I mean, you kind of hope that from like a quasi-modern lightweight nug. Oh, hang on, that's wrong. Yeah, the Corolla's a 1.8. Look, there you go, that's a good looking, that's an 8. On the highway, where it actually kind of sucked, 6.32. Again, just under the 98 Corolla. But I guess like the Goobery is more goobery, and it technically does have way more safety equipment. The car does not have an airbag, and it gives the combined score of 8.2. Again, just under the Corolla And you see, the big V6s and the big engines, they aren't too far away when it's all added up together with the highway, mate. Yeah, the Goober's fuel economy, positively cromulent, mate. It's up near the top where you kind of hope it would be. But where I know it's not going to be near the top, mate, is the 0 to 60 kilometers an hour. Yep, residential speeds. This changes the dynamic. This is when the nuggets start to thrive, even though all the big engines are near the top.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Goober, mate. I got to full send you. Full send the Goober, mate. Gear flare your way to glory. Here we go. That's pretty good. Oh, we got Goober!
4.32. It's tied with the Prado. It beat the Camry. My beloved Goober. Smallest engines on top, mate. Whoa. Just under the leaf. And then G-forces, 0.49. It's about the same as Brucey. You know, mid-tier. Mid-tier. But it's funny how it's faster than the Prado, which is at the top of the G-forces. Which is also slower than the Leaf, which is right at the bottom. So that's my beloved Goober. I adore it. Lots of plans for this guy, you know, being manual and completely disposable, and I don't really care what happens to it in a lot of ways. Yeah, you'll be smelling this guy a lot. A lot of smells. I'll smell you next time.